So for today's video, we're going to talk about the future tense. Same kind of format we follow for every verb tense video. See how it is in English, figure out when we use it in Spanish, figure out how it's conjugated, and then look at the irregulars. So in English, what we do, which is pretty cool, I think, is we add a verb, right? We made up a verb to demonstrate when something was happening in the future. So the verb here in the infinitive for teach is to teach. We have to give it a subject like I, you, she, it, he, we, they, and then we put the word will in there to signify this thing is happening in the future. I will teach. You will learn. She will listen. He will listen. It will listen. We will observe, right? What we also do in English, if we don't want to say I will, you will, because we're just way too busy, it takes too much time, we cut it. So we'll say I'll with an apostrophe, you'll with an apostrophe, right? We'll, they'll. Right? English, we're on the go, we're moving, we're grooving. We don't have time to say will fully. All right, but this is how in English we signify something is happening in the future. We created a word, and that is now our word for the future. All right? The good thing about English and Spanish is that here the future is used exactly the same. Right? When stuff is happening in the future in English, you're going to say it's happening in the future in Spanish. Okay? The important part now that we do need to learn is how do you conjugate it? And I think this is one of the best verb conjugations that there is out there. What you do is, similar to the conditional, if you've seen that already, you take the verb in its infinitive and you add these letters to the end of it. All right? So there is no more dropping the AR, dropping the ER, dropping the IR. You add these now to the end of the infinitive. Okay? So as, hemos, and on. All of them have tildes except for the nosotros. Let's see what some examples of that looks like real quick. Okay. So, correré, estarás, caminará, volveremos, beberán. These are all verbs now. I will run in the future. You will be. He will walk. She will walk. We will return. They will drink. All they do to signify the future is they add letters to the end of their infinitives. We create a word, will, they add letters. All right, so really kind of simple. And there's not too much complexity involved with the simple future, thankfully, in Spanish. There are, however, some irregulars, that we do need to memorize. All right, I have them placed in 3 different groups. The good news, if you've already done the conditional, these are exactly the same. They are exactly the same. There's 3 different categories in which you drop the E or the I from that infinitive ending. Sometimes you have to place a D in place of the E or the I. And then there are just our totally irregular ones that just want to be difficult because they can. So let's take a look now at this first category of dropping the E or the I. So I have my examples, haber, poder, saber, in which case we have poder, for example. You drop the E, and it's just podrá, podremos. Whoopsie, podremos. Oh, that was weird. Well, how do you like that? Podremos. All right, so you get rid of the E, the R goes next to the D, and then it's just your endings, right? Same as before, we put them at the end of the words. You're going to put them at the end now or after the R. Saber, sabrán, haber, habré. All right? Next are our give it a D. So you take out the letter, the E or the I at the end, and you give it a D. So tendré. For tener, you get rid of the E, you put a D, T-E-N-D, T-E-N-D-R, and then your endings. All right, same for venir. Get rid of the I, you put a D, V-E-N-D now is how it ends with your irregular ending, whatever it might be. Salir, the same, S-A-L-D with the ending that you need. And the last one are our totally irregulars, all right? And for these, they just want to be difficult because they can be. All right, but you'll start to, as you speak more in Spanish, understand or hear how much better it sounds with them being irregular like this. So decir is D-I-R, and then the ending. Hacer is H-A-R with the ending. Querer is Q-U-E-R-R. So that one's just a double R. Air. Double R, I apologize. Ere is the letter in Spanish. So, there are people who believe that this might be too advanced for a beginner to understand. This is something we use every day. Speaking in the future is part of our everyday lexicon. So Have no fear. This is not overly intimidating. It's something that you can incorporate right now into your language practice, whether it be reading what people are saying about stuff that's happening in the future, or even when you speaking on the future. This is something that anyone is capable of doing as long as you have the basics of the words down. All right, so go get after it. Now is your time. Go interact with some Spanish. And when you hear, when you see this, make a little note of it, right? Oh, that's the future simple. Okay, I know that now. All right, any questions? Leave them in the comments. Have a good rest of your day.